Hi, everybody. This is an update on the equality, diversity, and inclusion work that we are doing at Woodcraft Folk at the moment. My name's CC Carey Stewart. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the staff fundraiser for Central Woodcraft Folk and a member of the Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion, or EDI, working group. And I'll let Nadia introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Nadia. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a trustee on Woodcraft Folk's General Council, and I'm the lead trustee for safeguarding, and I'm also a member of the EDI working group.
Lovely. For those that don't know me, my name's Lewis Howell. I use he, him pronouns. And so I run an organization called 7PK, and we're proud to have partnered with the Woodcraft Folk in order to be able to do a real review and develop an action plan around EDI for the organization in order to be able to support with the organization really fulfilling the amazing values that it has that we know that the organization's committed to living out every day. So what we're looking at is from policies right through to processes, right through to engagement from volunteers and young people, right through to the brand and so much more, really thinking about how the organization can make incremental improvements to be able to become even more equitable, even more diverse, and even more inclusive.
So the EDI review is going to be quite comprehensive, and the first step is kind of collecting data, collecting equality data. So some of you will have participated at Venture Camp if you were there, and some of you might have filled out a form. And we wanted to kind of come to you and share a discussion that we've had within the working group about the importance of equality data collection, to kind of encourage you to fill out these surveys and to participate in the process, so that it can be kind of more meaningful. The importance of equality data collection is so that we can understand whether there are racialized or gendered experiences or, specific experiences that people who are living with disabilities have. If we're able to collect that data, we're able to isolate those experiences, and we're able to develop targeted approaches to ensuring that we're kind of closing any gaps, kind of empowering people, and enabling them to kind of participate in their most authentic way within the Woodcraft Folk. So that's kind of a note on that. We've been through the first step. Something that I found really interesting about some of the data that we've seen is that there are quite big gaps in responses between those people who answered the survey questions at Venture Camp and those who answered online, in that people seem to be more likely to share more intimate details about their identities if they were participating in person. So that's something that I thought was interesting, that could be drawn out. Lewis?
Yeah, so actually for me, one of the things that I found interesting when looking at the data is that in terms of those who responded, which I appreciate is not obviously everybody, but in terms of those who responded, when I looked specifically at those that were from racialized backgrounds who volunteered with the Woodcraft Folk, the age demographics were really interesting. So you had a bit of representation from people who were sort of in that sort of 16 to 24, maybe pushing 30 bracket. And then you had representation from those that were sort of 55 plus. But it begs the question of like, so how do we start to engage people who are in that age bracket of 25, 30 through to say 55 to also see the Woodcraft Folk as an organization that they might like to contribute to. So that was just something that stood out to me when looking at the data. What about for yourself though, CC?
Yeah, so the things that I'm always interested in looking at stats from like that we've received as an organization as opposed to like general averages across the UK. And we like have like actually quite up-to-date averages now. We've got the 2021 census. And that like of the responses we've received to the survey, we are a 93% white organization, as opposed to in the UK, it's 82% white. And that's something I think we need to consider. And as Lewis was saying about like, where's that age gap in the middle of people who are non-white and like, people from racialized backgrounds, why aren't they contributing? And how can we encourage those people to engage with us? And how can we feel like they have a space within our organization as well? And I think there's also some other like, oh, hopefully Nadia will be back. I think there's other interesting things as well that like our like gender makeup is quite interesting. We've got 67% female volunteers, which is like I think a really interesting discussion, and is also significantly different from the description that we saw at Venture Camp, which seemed to be much more equal gender split. And I think it's just interesting kind of to think about why that might be, and we are looking forward to finding out more, your thoughts, your experiences on stuff like that, and how we find that out going forward. Yeah, Lewis, do you want to talk about how
Which I
people can
think,
engage? Yeah.
So, which is a really, really helpful transition, Cece, because as you said, like being able to understand why is the real thing for us now. So to give people a bit of context, you've done a survey that was all about capturing demographic monitoring data. The survey that myself and my team have put together, which will be targeted at volunteers as well as former volunteers, as well as we have another one for those who intended to volunteer but didn't necessarily make it through, is really delving into that why. So this is very much a survey that will help us to understand some of the experiences that you've had since your time joining the Woodcraft Folk as a member, as a volunteer. And for us, that's really where we can start to gather some of the stories that, through anecdotes and stuff like that. But also, it does give us an understanding of how some of the processes actually work for people as well. So I appreciate that when you receive the survey, it might look a little bit daunting, it might look a little bit long, but we really, really, really do encourage you to dedicate the time to being able to share those experiences, because it's going to be super helpful. Try to make it as accessible as possible. So for example, if you're someone who doesn't like writing a lot, completely fine. You have the option to just upload a video or a voice note, for example, to an alternative form. Maybe you do like writing, but you don't want to do it in survey format. You can just put together a document and upload it as a Word doc or a PDF if you would prefer to do it that way on the alternative form as well. Similarly, we've created a guidance video. So if you're not sure about what some of the questions are alluding to, what we're asking for, you've got a whole guidance video that you can kind of have on throughout your time that you're completing the survey. So hopefully that makes it accessible as we can. And then the other thing that we're really looking for is people to put themselves forward to be part of focus groups. So we're going to have a range of different focus groups, some for group volunteers, some for non-group volunteers. We're also going to have some focus groups specifically for those that are living with disabilities, specifically for those that are from racialized backgrounds, and also specifically for those that are women or of minoritized gender assignments. So yeah, like effectively, we just want to have people engage in the best way possible. So if you can actually put yourself forward to be part of a focus group or an interview, we're also going to do some one-to-one interviews as well. So you can express your interest in being part of either of those. We'd really, really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it from me. That is my sort of plea and ask for you to engage with us so that we can get as much rich information as possible to understand how to help the organization to continue to operate in line with its values and continuously improve.
Yeah, and that's us really. Thank you so much for everything you've done so far. It's really great to have all the survey responses. Keep them coming. More survey, as we said, coming out, focus groups. Yeah, thank you very much. And bye.
Oh, and I should say those focus groups will be in April and May. That's what I should have said. Yeah, April and May is around the time when we're going to be doing them, but please express your interest as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Keep an eye out.